Temperature in the mid-50s, misting, overcast in the Bay Area. And welcome to Game 4 of the 1972 World Series. The National League champions, the Cincinnati Reds, versus the American League champs, the Oakland A's. Brought to you by Gillette, makers of the Gillette Track 2 two-bladed shaving system. And by your Chrysler Plymouth dealer, highlighting Plymouth Satellite for 1973. Built to be seen, not heard. Hi, everybody. Kurt Gowdy of NBC Sports. Monty Moore, the voice of the Oakland A's. When are the hitters going to start hitting? Everybody's asking about this 1972 World Series. Each team has a team batting average of 178. There have been only 9 runs scored in the first 3 games. Cincinnati got on the board last night with its 1-0 victory. And I'll tell you, the way the pitchers are pitching, I don't believe we'll see too much scoring in this series. They're not only pitching with control, but with excellent stuff, changing speeds, and we have just had superb pitching. The hitters have not been that bad. Tonight, a young left-hander, 21 years old, Don Gullett, who was set back with hepatitis early in the season, won 9, lost 10, is on the mound for Cincinnati, and he'll be going against the winner of the first game for the Oakland A's, Ken Holtzman, who won 19 and lost 10. A misty night here. In fact, later we may have a fog rolling in back of us here, coming in and forming an invisible wall. Monty Moore does the A's games here, and he can tell you when we get those conditions here, it's hard to hit a ball out of this ballpark.
Yes, and it's just that kind of a night, too, Kurt. These two teams, though they haven't scored in the World Series, can score. Cincinnati scored 19 runs in their playoff games against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Oakland A's scored 13 in their playoff games against the Detroit Tigers. Both teams, of course, playing 5 games. To give you an idea of how tough runs are to come by here in the World Series, in last night's 1-0 game, let's take a look at the 1 run that was scored. Tony Perez from second base on a base hit up the middle, rounding third, and watch this. Now you talk about a guy scrambling, scratching, almost stopped to pick up his helmet and said, well, I think I'll go on. Meanwhile, the ball is coming into the shortstop of the A's, Campy Campaneris, who didn't know about all this falling going on. But that's an idea of how tough it has been for these teams to score. But during the course of the season, Cincinnati was the second best scoring team in the National League, averaging almost 5 runs a game, and the A's were the second best in the American League with almost 4 runs a game. So, Kurt, we'll see tonight whether good pitching once again can stop these hitters.
And can you imagine how Sparky Anderson felt? He's been trying to get a run in here when his man fell down. Well, let's see how Tony Kubek feels about tonight's game. He's down on the field. Tony?
With me down on the field, Pete Rose. And Pete, I don't mean to say this to sound like I'm discrediting either team's pitching staff, but is the pitching been that good, or has the hitting just been lousy?
Well, I think it's a combination of both, Tony. They've only given us 4 runs, and we've held their team to 5 runs. And Hunter pitched a great game. Odom pitched a great game. Billingham pitched a good ball game. Holtzman pitched good when he was in there. And I don't know. It's been tough hitting. We had some days off after the Pittsburgh series, and we've been 3 days out batting practice now. But they say that good pitching will always overcome good hitting, and that may be the case right now. But I know some of the fellas, including me on our ball club, aren't swinging the bat like we were against Pittsburgh in the playoffs. And I think when we start swinging the bats, we should be able to beat Oakland, because they don't score a lot of runs. They rely on their pitching mostly.
Pete, do you think having seen Kenny Holtzman over in the National League is going to be an advantage for your team?
Well, it definitely should help you, and it didn't help me the first game. I was 0 for 4 off him. He pitched 5 innings against us, but just like tomorrow, Catfish Hunter will pitch for the second time around. Then we'll get to see probably Vita Blue Saturday and Blue Moon Odom if it goes 7 games Sunday. And I think it always helps a hitter, especially a hitter like me, because I want to know how a guy's curveball breaks or how a guy's slider breaks or what kind of velocity he's got on his fastball. And I think seeing a guy more than one time really helps you, especially me.
Pete, quickly, what about Don Gullett? He's had a few bad starts.
Well, what can you say about a guy that pitched 2 times against Pittsburgh Pirates? Pittsburgh's an explosive ball club, and they handle left-handers pretty good, and other than that, he's pitching pretty well.
Pete, thank you. Have a good day today.
Thank you, Tony.
Pete Rose, now let's go back upstairs.
Another sellout crowd here in Oakland, and we're ready now for the opening ceremonies of Game 4 of this series.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Oakland Coliseum for the 4th game of the 1972 World Series. Here are the official lineup. First, the Cincinnati Reds. Here's the manager of the Reds, number 10, Sparky Anderson. Batting first and playing left field, number 14, Pete Rose. Batting second and playing second base, number 8, Joe Morgan. Batting third and playing center field, number 28, Bob Tolan. Batting fourth and catching, number 5, Johnny Bench. Batting fifth and playing first base, number 24, Tony Perez. Batting sixth and playing right field, number 11, Hal McRae. Batting seventh and playing third base, number 16, Dennis Menke. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, number 13, Dave Concepcion. Batting ninth and pitching, number 35, Don Gullett, who is warming up in the bullpen. And here are the remaining players and coaches of the Cincinnati Reds. Now for the Oakland Athletics. Here is the manager of the A's, number 23, Dick Williams. And special recognition to a great ball player injured in the playoffs, unable to play in the World Series, Reggie Jackson. Batting first and playing shortstop, number 19, Cappy Campaneris. Batting second and playing right field, number 14, Matty Alou. Batting third and playing left field, number 26, Joe Rudy. Batting fourth and playing third base, number 6, Captain Sal Bando. Batting fifth and playing first base, number 5, Mike Epstein. Batting sixth and playing center field, number 25, George Hendrick. Batting seventh and catching, number 38, Gene Tennis. Batting eighth and playing second base, number 1, Dick Green. Batting ninth and pitching, number 30, Ken Holtzman, who's warming up in the bullpen. And here are the remaining players and coaches of the Oakland Athletics.
And that's a left-hander, Ken Holtzman, now starting his warm-up pitches. And in here to take you through the first 4.5 innings is the voice of the Oakland Athletic Baseball team on their broadcasting crew, Monty Moore.
Thank you very much, Kurt, and hi once again, everybody. Kenny Holtzman, one of the most steady performers in the American League this year. You got to look at his motion here, and we call him stylish. And I think when you see him, you'll understand why.
He has a pretty good fastball. I don't think it is as overpowering as Don Gullett's. But Kenny, and we said this the first appearance that we saw him, he has to get his curveball early, and it makes his fastball more effective.
Here's the first pitch of the game to Pete Rose. And we're underway with a strike. Rose, for the season, for the Cincinnati Reds, hit .307. He has had only one hit in 11 at-bats in the series. Holtzman misses, low and away. It's a ball and a strike. Rose, a switch hitter. had an ambition this year to hit 300 from each side of the plate, and he did just that. Holtzman's first curveball is in the dirt. It's 2 balls and a strike. Rose hit .315 against left-handers and .304 against right-handers. Throughout his career as a switch hitter, he's been a little better from the left side. Dick Green to Mike Epstein, and there's 1 out in the first inning. Holtzman is a spot pitcher. He pitches from the left side a whole lot, the same way that Jim Hunter does from the right. He throws to spots. Here now is little Joe Morgan, who has no hits in his last 14 at-bats in 4 games. That counts the last game of the playoffs and the 3 World Series games.
Monty, it appears to me Morgan is pressing too hard.
First pitch hit up in the air to Joe Rudy in left field. And Joe puts it away. There are 2 down.
He lives here. He really wanted to do well. He's been swinging hard. He's perhaps trying to go for the long ball too much, maybe.
Here's Bobby Tolan, the very fine center fielder for Cincinnati, and he had a .283 year. Average-wise, he had 8 home runs, and a very amazing statistic to me is the fact he knocked in 82 runs this year. In the World Series, he has 2 hits in 12 at-bats. Quite a comeback he has made from 2 Achilles tendon injuries. Kenny Holtzman's got a tough play to make, and Epstein dropped the ball. Very fine play by Kenny Holtzman. He threw that ball right where Epstein had the glove. It bounded away.
Pretty good bunt by Bobby Tolan. Holtzman bare hands it, knows he's got to hurry. Just off the edge of the glove of Mike Epstein.
Now we'll watch Tolan. Last night the Reds stole 3 bases. They want to play a running game. They're 2 down. Ideal situation for him.
Tolan swiped 42 bases this year. An error has been given to Mike Epstein on the play. Here's Johnny Bench. Johnny led the major leagues in home runs with 40. RBIs with 125, and he base hits to right field. Tolan will go to third base. Matty Alou gets the ball back into Dick Green, and the Reds are set up now with runners at first and third and 2 down. And here comes the hottest hitter for Cincinnati in the World Series, Tony Perez, the only player who has hit safely in all 3 games. He has 5 hits. Holtzman is ahead of Perez now at 0-2. See if he tries to go with a waste pitch and tempt Perez, or if he challenges him. Bench took off, and no throw is made. He steals second base. Johnny Bench steals second, hoping that the A's would throw and Tolan would break to the plate. The same kind of a play on which Reggie Jackson of the A's scored against Detroit in the playoffs to tie up the final game. A's wearing Kelly green over their polar bear white pants tonight. Last night they wore a California gold color. When they play at home on Sundays, they wear still another uniform, all white. He struck him out. The score after a half inning, Cincinnati nothing, Oakland nothing. You're looking at 21-year-old Don Gullett. He is in his 2nd World Series.
He's got a Sandy Koufax kind of fastball, Monty. Anytime he goes out to the mound, he can overpower you. Does not have the Koufax curveball, but he can throw the fast one by you.
This is the man they expected to win 20 this year, but he had a case of hepatitis. When they finally discovered what he had, it was called then subsiding hepatitis, the tail end of the disease. But it really set him back this year.
Here's the A's leadoff man, Campy Campaneris. Ran up on the first pitch, and it's a strike from Gullett, and he brought that one right on to town. Campaneris uses a big bat, as you'll notice. It's almost a bottle bat, but it's big all the way down to the handle. Very light, however. He's broken about 30 bats this year. Trying to bunt, it goes foul again. It's no balls, 2 strikes.
Been rather quiet for Pete Rose so far. Last night he told me he had about a dozen eggs and oranges and apples thrown at him out there. They have a sign writing back at him, Rose Garden.
Gullett, good stop. He fell down throwing that ball, but he got him. So there's one away. Still a little loose out there on the infield, though they did allow batting practice and infield drills tonight. That's how fine a job they've done getting this place in shape. Here's Matty Alou, who joined the A's for the last 31 regular season games. He was with the St. Louis Cardinals. He has had only one hit in the series, and Matty was saying before the game, boy, I have only one slump all year. Why would it be now? He's a magician with that bat. He can hit it to all fields. Ball one.
Monty, notice the way they're playing him in the infield, especially over here in Oakland with the soft grass. They've come in halfway. They're really in tight, and the outfield's very shallow.
Little blooper to shallow left field. Coming on is Pete Rose. Good catch. He got him on the run. And that's why they play shallow. He dumps that ball right in behind the shortstop with a little inside-out swing.
Here comes Pete Hard. He's an ex-infielder, but he has really learned how to play the outfield quickly. See that soft spot just in front of Pete? It could be trouble for a shortstop and the second baseman on the other side going back on the ball. Very soft.
Now here's one of the A's most consistent performers, Joe Rudy, the left fielder. Rudy had a phenomenal year, batting .305, 19 home runs. And Gullett nips the outside corner with a strike and a good fastball. It's 0-1.
Gullett looks quicker tonight than when we saw him in the playoffs against the Pirates, throwing harder.
He threw that one right by Rudy. It's 2 strikes now. Rudy was the 5th best hitter in the American League. The league champion this year, Rod Carew of Minnesota, who finished very strongly with a .318 mark. Bench moved outside, you notice, just a little bit that time, asking for the waste pitch. You watch the good catchers move around behind that plate. They help out pitchers, particularly men like Gullett. Throw so hard, they give him a big target. Rudy really got jammed. Shortstop Concepcion takes care of it, and the A's go 1-2-3 in the first inning. The score after an inning of play, Cincinnati nothing, Oakland nothing. The differences in umpiring in the two leagues, not only in the strike zone, but how they stand behind the plate, the uniforms they wear, and where they stand to cover second base. McRae with a base hit up the middle, and he is 3 for 3 in the World Series. He's the guy, Kurt, who says, I'm going to go up there swinging as hard as I can on every pitch. I might fall down on my face, but I'll be swinging. Dennis Menke. For Cincinnati this year, hit .235, but he knocked in 50 runs. He's had 1 hit in the series. Been up 9 times. Bando short hops it. Goes down to second. Green. Whoa! Is he taken out at second base by McRae?
Watch Bando again. He's trying to get the lead runner. Now watch McRae. Green, a dead duck. Watch McRae once again. Had a good jump on the little topper. Now you can see him trying to get the angle, and the shortstop does not like this. That man should slide and not come in throwing a block.
Boy, McRae took 2 or 3 short steps right before he got to the bag, and that's the way they play it in the World Series, fans. Now here is Concepcion.
There isn't a football coach in America who doesn't have a big smile on his face right now.
And those who say that baseball is a no-contact sport, just lay back and watch. 1-0 the count on Concepcion, the shortstop. Holtzman, a good fastball let her high, 1-1. Bando to Green, he got 1, and there'll be no double play.
And Green hung right in there. He didn't flinch.
I'll say this, Kurt, for a series that has been so low scoring, we've really had some action.
It's been the tenseness of every game. The low scoring struggles, but very tight.
Bouncing ball to Green, underhanded toss to Campaneris for the force play, and in the second, no runs, a hit, 1 left on. The score, Cincinnati nothing and Oakland nothing.
You know, Monty, Johnny Bench is leading off here in the 4th inning. And last night, he dated the boss's daughter. Only it was the wrong boss. He had a date with Charlie Finley's daughter. Called her up, took her to the basketball game.
She's a beauty, too. Former homecoming queen at the University of Colorado.
We were kidding Charlie Finley about it. He may want to borrow some money someday.
Charlie has a big family, 7 children, and 6 of them made the trip into Detroit, then on to Cincinnati, and out here.
His oldest daughter, Sharon, is expecting a baby any day now, and she's home in LaPorte, Indiana. The only child that isn't here in the Finley family.
And there is his owner, Charlie Finley, right next to his wife, Shirley. Kenny Holtzman to Johnny Bench, who's had 4 hits. Kenny starts him off with a curve high and away. Both Charlie Finley of the A's and Bob Hausum of Cincinnati have done super jobs putting together championship clubs here this year. Hausum decided after the 1970 World Series team for the Cincinnati Reds that it was not the kind of team he wanted, even though they had won a National League pennant. He wanted an exciting team, one that thrilled the fans, and he went out and got a Morgan and a Geronimo and others. Johnny Bench has hit number 5, a single up the middle. And as a leadoff man, Kurt, in this series, he has been something. He has had about 9 or 10 chances to lead off an inning in the series, and he has been on a high percentage of times.
He and Perez now have been on 7 times each. They lead the World Series getting on base.
I know the A's felt when the series started if they could keep him hitting ground balls up the middle and to right field, though, they'd be in pretty good shape. They have kept him in the park so far. Now here's Tony Perez. Struck out with 2 men on in scoring position in the 1st inning. Fouled it off. Holtzman really blistered one by him in that 1st inning to strike him out.
You were talking about the trades that Cincinnati made. One of the reasons they made them was moving to the new ballpark, Riverfront Stadium, where defense and speed was more important than an old Crosley Field.
It looked last year as if it might not be the right thing. They finished 4th, but boy, this year, and Sparky Anderson and Bob Hausum both said all winter, we have the kind of club that can win it now, and they did. The drive to deep left center field. George Easy Riding Hendrick makes the catch, and Bench all the way to second, goes back to first. 2 out, a man on, and here's Dennis Menke. 0-1. There have been more batters jammed tonight, already about 4 bats broken. Pitchers moving the ball in, moving it out, both throwing pretty hard stuff. McRae is going. The liner goes straight to Bando. The score, 0-0. Mike Epstein at the plate with a 2-1 count. Scoreless ball game. Base hit could mean a run. Great play by Concepcion. Well on the first base side of second base, and they got Mike Epstein and retired the A's, leaving 2 on.
I don't think Morgan could have made the play as he was going to his right. He wouldn't be able to stop. Concepcion ranging far on the first base side of second with a fine play on Epstein.
In the 4th inning, no runs and 2 left. 1 error, the score, 0-0.
The A's, the last month of the season, didn't score many runs. They were winning 2-1, 3-2. Receiving pitching just like there's a long drive. Goodbye. And the A's are in the lead. Gene Tennis has hit another one. Saturday, another one today. Charlie Finley with 2 banners. The fireworks and the whole ballpark erupt. And the A's lead 1-0. Dick Green hits that fly ball to right fielder McRae, and they're 2 down. Boy, that Tennis really had authority on that drive. That was a line drive over the left field wall.
Kurt, that's a typical Gene Tennis blow. I know a lot of country baseball fans are wondering where in the world were his home runs all year. He wasn't playing much this year, Kurt. We feel if he'd have been playing all year, he's a 20 or 25 home run a year man.
There he is, putting on what they've called the tools of ignorance over the years, the catching paraphernalia. Meanwhile, down in the Cincinnati bullpen, Pedro Borbon is going to work. Ken Holtzman lined to left his first time. Ball one. Until Tennis hit the home run, Holtzman had hit the ball the hardest of any A line drive to Rhodes. 2 balls, no strike. So the A's lead 1-0, last of the 5th inning. The last player to hit 3 homers in one World Series, Don Clendenin, with the fantastic Mets in 1969. Ground ball to shortstop Concepcion. The A's are out, but they took the lead with 1 run, 1 hit. Gene Tennis's homer. There were no errors, nobody left. We've gone 5 innings, and the score: Oakland 1, Cincinnati 0. Johnny Bench has single to right, single to center. He and Tony Perez lead the series with base hits 5 apiece. And there is a line drive charged by Lou. He's got it. What a game he's playing in right field tonight. Well, the Reds are down in the 6th inning. And at the end of 5 1/2, here it is again.
Fine running snap by Matty Alou in right field.
At the end of 5 1/2, Oakland 1, Cincinnati 0. Last of the 6th inning. Top of the A's batting order: Campaneris, Alou, and Rudy. Ball 1. Pedro Borbon goes back to work in the Cincinnati bullpen. Campaneris was robbed of extra bases on a stabbing grab by Menke, the third baseman in the 4th. He hits a high fly to deep left. Squeezed over in the corners, Pete Rose, foul ground, takes it, 1 down. Sparky Anderson. Fouled away. Sparky Anderson used to be the bat boy for Fred Haney's Hollywood Stars. Dick Williams used to play in that same area. Around Santa Barbara, Los Angeles. They've known each other for a long time. That's Sal Bando on deck. There's a base hit for Joe Rudy to left field. A 2-out single by Rudy. Each team now with 3 hits. The batter is Bando, single to right, been walked intentionally.
Kurt Gullett must be just losing about 6 or 8 inches off that fastball. They have really ripped some drives here the last couple innings off him.
Tony Perez looked over in the dugout. How do you want me to play it? Shall I hold? Shall I back off the bag? With 2 down, Perez is playing off the bag. Rudy's going. And there's a base hit in the left field. Rudy has to stop at second. Rose bluffs the throw to second base. The A's have runners on first and second, 2 out.
Kurt, it's amazing the ground that Concepcion covers. He came close to getting that ball, and he was playing Bando straight up.
Watch Concepcion again. The ball slowed up just a shade by this heavy turf. Hit very hard by the glove of Concepcion.
Mike Epstein looking for his first World Series hit. Popped to the second baseman, grounded to short. A strike. He was robbed of a base hit by Concepcion in the 4th inning. Rudy at second. Bando at first. 2 out. Line shot to right field. Hal McRae has it right at him, and the A's are retired to the 6th. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. At the end of 6 innings, Oakland 1, Cincinnati nothing. 1 out. The batter hits it to the box. Oakland goes to Green for 1, over to first, easy double play. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. And the A's are up to their 7th inning stretch, with the A's leading 1-0. Ken Holtzman, leading 1-0 in the top of the 8th inning, will face Dave Concepcion. Ken Holtzman was the winner in the first game of this series, 3-2. He pitched only 5 innings. Pitched enough to get the win. There's Javier. It's misting here now. Bounding ball. There'll be a tough play by Campaneris. Safe. Epstein gave it the big boarding house reach, but Concepcion beat it out.
Banda was playing on the line, protecting against an extra base hit down the line. Campy had to go further to his right than he usually does. Bob Engel, the first place umpire, with a very close play. Just out of the grasp of Sal Banda, who was playing the line and in. Campy got over in the hole, came up with the overhand throw, and the ball appeared to sink a little bit on him.
So the tying runs on now for Cincinnati in the 8th inning. On the infield hit by Concepcion. Now they're looking for a bunt. Javier dumps it down the third baseline. Bando will play it to first base. 1 down. The sacker there running is Hegan towards second, trying to run him back. The tying run now on second for the Cincinnati Reds in the 8th inning. The top of the order, and Pete Rose. Rose has grounded out and thrown out trying to bunt and has flied out. Rose 1 hit in 14 times. You don't hold him that way too often. Only 1 hit in 14. 8 years in a row he's hit over 300 in the big leagues. Concepcion, a fast man at second base. A ball to Pete Rose. The highlight for Holtzman tonight is control. He has not walked a batter. Oakland 1, Cincinnati nothing. Top of the 8th inning. 2 balls, no strikes to Pete Rose. Rose hits it off the box. Green fields it and throws him out. Hit Holtzman, slowed it down, and Green came on for it. Green has played very well in the infield tonight for Oakland. Dick Williams now talking to Gene Tennis. Is he all right? You're receiving him, you should know. Does he appear to be getting tired, do you? This is when a manager wants these honest answers.
Kenny is just that way, too. He'll tell him. In Dallas one day this year, he was pitching, and he's probably told him they're going to bring in Vida Blue right here.
All right, they've got the 2 left-handers up. That's right, Morgan and Tolan. They figure that maybe Holtzman is tiring a little bit. And Vida Blue is being brought on. So we have a break in the action here at the Oakland Coliseum. The score in the top of the 8th inning, Oakland 1, Cincinnati nothing. Vida Blue has been outstanding in relief in the playoffs and World Series. Or he's been unhappy, too. He doesn't want to be a relief pitcher. He figures he's a starting star. Joe Morgan looking for his first hit of the series. Outside to him a ball. Concepcion's at third base. They're 2 down.
Well, you could see the velocity on that pitch, Kurt. It almost knocked the mitt off Tennis's hand.
Al Bando says something to him. Blue pitched 4 shutout innings against the Tigers to clinch the pennant. That was top foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He saved the game on Saturday for Holtzman. 2 2/3 innings of shutout relief. Morgan being played to the opposite field. Here's a 3-2 pitch to him. He walked him. Joe Morgan goes to first. Concepcion's at third. 2 out. Bobby Tolan up. Now Dick Williams is coming out to the mound to talk to Vida Blue.
They've got to talk about what's going to happen if Morgan breaks to second base, too. They've got to be very careful here. The A's have just almost, in this entire series, in this situation, given second base to the runner, as if to say, we can get that man at the plate. Now, if the man makes it to second, that puts the winning run in scoring position, or the go-ahead run.
All right, runners on first and third, 2 outs. Oakland trying to cling to this 1-0 lead. 8th inning. There he goes. And he lashes that into right field. Watch Morgan. The time runs in. Morgan may score. Here comes the throw. Morgan's in. And the Reds lead 2-1 in the 8th inning. He had a big jump, and he scores from first base on Bobby Tolan's drive into the right field corner. Tolan on second, 2 down. Joe Morgan hasn't had a hit, but he's just scored a very important run with his speed, breaking with a pitch and scoring all the way from first. A strike to Johnny Bench, who's had 2 hits and 3 times. Single to right, single to center, lined out to right. Vida Blue came in. He walked Joe Morgan. He's given up the double to Tolan. There's a high fly ball to center field. George Henry galloping in under, has it, but the Reds took the lead in the 8th inning. 2 runs. The 2-1 pitch. A high drive in the deep left center. Joe Rudy back for it. The Reds are out at the top of the 9th. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left. Last chance for the A's with the score: Cincinnati 2 and Oakland 1. Sparky Anderson on your left, Dick Williams on your right. Slashes it right down to Menke, who's been a very sure-handed third baseman tonight. 1 down. Gonzalo Marquez is going to bat. Marquez has been an excellent pinch hitter in this postseason play for Oakland.
Kurt, he was made active for the playoffs in the place of a pitcher, actually, with special permission from the Detroit Tigers, who were given special permission for another player. But when Darrell Knowles, the regular reliever, was injured, the A's put him on instead of another pitcher.
1 out. Nobody on. 2-1 Cincinnati. Breaking pitch for a strike. Pounding ball, skipping up the middle. It's a base hit. He does it again. And the A's have the tying run on. We're going to have a runner. Sparky Anderson watching the runner coming on. That's Alan Lewis. Marquez will get a big hand. Just about every time he's been up, he's delivered against the Tigers and here in World Series competition. In the playoffs in the World Series, in 6 pinch hitting appearances, he's had 4 hits.
And they've all been big ones, Kurt, in late innings, as you usually use a man like this. Sparky Anderson going out to talk to Bourbon. Runner over at first base for the A's, Alan Lewis, is called the Panamanian Express, and he stole 102 bases 1 year in the minor leagues.
2 balls and a strike to Gene Tennis. The A's are down by 1 run, last to the 9th inning. Now Sparky Anderson, as the wheels turn here in the Oakland Coliseum, moves to the mound. And he is not hesitating. He wants his veteran who came in and dispatched the A's with such ease last night, Clay Carroll. Carroll, who set a major league record with 37 saves this year. Just did it in such easy fashion last night that it was boom, 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 and they were all in the clubhouse. 2 balls and a strike to Gene Tennis. 3 balls, 1 strike. And Clay Carroll thought he had that one in. That's Alan Lewis at first base, 1 out. He's the tying run for the A's here in the last of the 9th inning. Three and 1 count. There's a ground ball in the left field. Alan Lewis goes to second. And Gene Tennis now becomes the winning run at first base. Alan Lewis at second base. And Don Mincher is going to bat for second baseman Dick Green. This is Mincher's second World Series. He played 7 games for the Twins in the '65 series against the Dodgers. Dave Hamilton and Bob Locker. If Mincher gets a hold of one, he can send it.
He came over to the A's from the Texas Rangers this year in a trade and has played very little. So he's been strictly a pinch hitter. He's hitting only .216, but he did have 6 home runs before he left the Texas Rangers.
The seasonal average, .216 with 6 homers, 44 RBIs. 1 out. Runners on first and second. Ball 1 to Don Mincher. Angel Manuel has come in the on-deck circle to bat for the pitcher if he gets a shot. 1 ball, no strikes. Base hit into right center. There's Lewis, rounding third. The game is tied. Over to third goes Gene Tennis. And this Oakland crowd has gone crazy. Angel Manuel, that's Bill Poisdell, the pitching coach. He's retiring this year. The winning run now at third base for the A's. Gene Tennis is there. Mincher's at first. There's 1 out. And the bullpens have failed both clubs tonight.
Dick Williams is going over to talk to his third base coach, Herb Noren. Kurt, he'll do this a lot. He wants to make sure there's no mix-up here. The A's have run the suicide squeeze play quite often this year. It's going to be interesting to see what they do here with only 1 out and how the Reds play the infield.
And now they've officially announced the pinch hitter.
And we're going to have a pinch runner. Johnny Blue Moon Odom will run for Mincher, and he can fly. You might wonder why a pinch runner at first base. The big reason is, in case the ball is hit in a hole somewhere, he might be able to get there in time to break up a double play.
Looks like Williams had an elastic band on him. Started out, he came back. Williams has been out to the mound repeatedly in a series. He's talked to hitters. This is the A's first World Series. They're primarily a young team. Sparky Anderson now is ordering his infield in. Odom is running for Mincher, a slow man at first. The winning run is over at third, Gene Tennis. The game is tied 2-2, last of the 9th inning. The outfield will have to play very shallow. The long fly ball beats the Reds anyway. They don't want a Texas leaguer dumped in there. And Angel Manuel, who's been a disappointment this year, can be a hero right now from Puerto Rico. This is his first World Series appearance. Last year, they were calling him the Little Clemente. The infield in. Ground ball. Base hit. The A's win it. The A's have come back with 2 runs in the last of the 9th inning and defeated Cincinnati 3-2 and have now taken a commanding lead in this World Series. The fireworks go off. They mob Manguel 3 pinch hits in the last of the 9th inning for Oakland. Every game has been a 1-run ball game in this World Series, and Manguel is the hero. A bitter loss for the Reds, who had rallied to take the lead, and of course, a fantastic win for the A's. A big underdog for this World Series. They now lead it 3-1, and they can win the World Series tomorrow if they can defeat Cincinnati. The Reds must win to send this World Series back to Cincinnati on Saturday. The winning pitcher, Raleigh Fingers, in relief. The losing pitcher, Clay Carroll, in relief. And forgotten right now, the 2 excellent jobs by the starters, Don Gullett and Ken Holtzman. Monty?
Kurt, this has been an amazing baseball team. The A's did just that against the Detroit Tigers in Game 1 of the playoffs here in Oakland. After Al Kaline hit a home run against Oakland in the 11th inning to take a 1-run lead, the A's came back and scored 2 in the last half of the 11th inning. The people don't want to leave here, Kurt. They're just standing around and enjoying this thing. And as you say, the A's have a chance to bring the first World Championship team to the Bay Area in any sport of all times. What a fantastic come from behind, but one just like they've done many times this year.